we're chatting about season 3 and what's coming up, and also your character Henry Foss. First of all, I think we've had a few fan questions, and one of the more interesting ones was about the relationship between Helen and Henry, and whether you saw it as a mentor-student relationship or a mother and son relationship. And I just wondered what your thoughts were on that.
I think personally, it's a bit of both. I mean, I think that she did, effectively raise Henry, but she doesn't age very very much, if at all. So the physical age gap is closing in. But definitely there's a mentor-student, and I think it's definitely sort of a maternal quality to the Magnus-Henry relationship. I think. I mean, I know there are some people that think otherwise, but some people have some messed up families. So
this is your first full 20 episode season. What's it like for you to kind of put that on, to wear that mantle of regular actor? Is that strange for you? Do you find it constricting?
No, not at all, especially not with Sanctuary. I mean, it's definitely the best environment I've ever had to work in. Everybody's really close, and everybody gets along extremely well, and you look forward to going to work every single day. It's really fun. I think we're making a really great show, and everybody's just so proud of this show. It literally it was the little show that could. We started so small, and to be doing so well, and to see how great the ratings have been already in the U.S. The ratings were really impressive, and it's fun. It's I come from independent film, and it's definitely got that vibe to it. Sanctuary just feels like that all the time. Everybody's there because they have a lot of heart, and everybody wants the show to succeed. So it's fun. 20 episodes is a lot. I mean, it's a big haul. It's especially taxing on Amanda more than it would be on me, for example, because she directs, she's executive producer, she's acting. I think that she's the one that would probably experience, the fatigue more than anyone. But you'd never notice. She's got a big smile on her face every day, and we're doing it. We're living the dream. I've been playing Henry now, including the web series, for over 4 years. We always knew that was something that was going to happen for Henry. So I play with mannerisms. I've done my research. I tried to do something a little different. Our werewolf, our lichen, different to what's out there right now. It's more, well, you'll see in season 3. But it's funny. We have a dog on set all the time. The dog's name is Bandit, and Bandit belongs to Steve Adelson, who is a director on our show, who also happens to be our camera operator, and he's a great guy. And his dog Bandit is around, and Bandit is one of those dogs that's very much like a person. He is the mannerisms and the demeanor and the character of like a human. And he's really fun and really interesting to watch because he's really chill. So I will go and just sit with Bandit and just observe him sometimes. And that's been my big secret up until this year. This is the first year I've actually let that secret out, because I had to use Bandit a lot more than usual this year because of seeing Henry in that state more often in season 3. So Bandit had a lot to do with that. Just the quirky head movements when he hears something, or he'd hear his name, and I try to incorporate that in Henry's everyday physicality. Henry doesn't just turn his head just like everybody. If you watch, every so often you'll see a subtle dog-like nuance, and that's just fun for me.
The physical appearance that you change so regularly is a fascinating aspect of your acting. You recently appeared as Charles Manson in a movie, which I think most people looking at Henry Foss would just slap their foreheads and go, "What the hell?" But tell us about that physicality, about changing the way you look. Is that something that really is a guiding light for you as an actor, or is it just part of the job?
No, it's definitely again, it's a bit of both. I personally think it is a part of the job. I think as a character actor, you want to change up your look. I'd like to be remembered as. I don't necessarily need people to remember my name. I'm happy if I'm that guy. Oh yeah, that's that guy. He's great. I love him in everything. He's that guy. But what's his name? He's awesome. That was the same guy from that thing? Oh my God, that's great. Those are the compliments that mean the world to me. Great, brilliant character actors out there that I admire deeply, like Philip Seymour Hoffman or Chris Cooper. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, but I love that. But with a role like Charles Manson, you have to. I mean, you have to. I lost a bunch of weight to play that role, but I'm not a huge guy, but I'm a lot bigger than he is. I mean, he's only 5'3", and he's a tiny, tiny man. So I'm a lot taller than that. So I had to find a way to be smaller, and then even just things like when I did Caprica recently, that was something that the network had discussed with me as well. It's like, well, let's try to make this character as far away from Henry as possible. It didn't really have any relevance to Battlestar Galactica per se, because you never know what's happening with these characters in Caprica and how they may or may not pertain to other characters in Battlestar Galactica, having Battlestar Galactica be the future. But we wanted me to be as far removed from Henry as possible, so that was the look. I had that look because we were shooting Reese at the time, and then it was just a matter of just, again, physicality and trying to be bigger and meaner, I take my job very seriously, but I enjoy it immensely, and those are some of the things I really enjoy about it.
You're a bit of an action man off the set, and we're just wondering if you're going to get a bit more fight sequences and action on the set in season 3.
There's some stuff. I mean, there's one episode in particular that I think everyone's going to get a kick out of, where I got to beat myself up pretty good. We all did. I think the thing is, it's just, we got to remember who Henry is and keep true to who Henry is. And as much as I would love to see Henry, get more action in all forms, and including physically, and see Henry, fight more and be active more, because I have those abilities. We have to be careful with that because of staying true to the nature of who Henry is, and for Henry to suddenly come out as this action hero, maybe it's not doing any justice to the character. Henry might become less endearing if everybody knows he could kick everyone's ass. You know what I mean? So it's a fine line, and we talk about it a lot because you want to use your skill sets, and I have a great relationship with our stunt coordinator and our fight choreographer, and it is frustrating sometimes because I have this skill set as a fighter that I can use, but at the end of the day, you got to stay true to the story and the character, and we found a way this year to excuse that. And there is an episode where you get to see Henry go have. I got to use my skill set. Walking into a room and me and some stunt performers and just have a really good time, and I had a blast.
The landscape of Sanctuary is shifting from what we were used to in seasons 1 and 2. Can you tell us anything about, say, the relationship between Henry and the other characters, or what's happening? Or
Sure. I think the fact that we had 20 episodes to play with this year we were able to delve a little deeper into each of our characters and to tell, broader, tell our stories in broader strokes. And a lot of us got to interact with each other more. And there are some new pairings that we didn't really explore too much in season 1 and 2. There's some really great stuff with Will and Henry going on missions, for example, and Biggie and Kate, and Henry and Kate, and Will and Kate, and Will and Biggie. I mean, everybody just moves around, and of course Magnus with everybody now, and the relationships are all much deeper this season. Henry definitely he gets a lot more involved in season 3, I think. He interacts with everybody, and some of it's a little more intense than others. There's, I think, some of the fans will be very pleased, and some of the fans will be up in arms, and we can't please everybody, but we can make them talk about it.
And you've probably been asked about 1,000,000 times before, but had the opening sequence of the pilot for Battlestar Galactica been kept as is, would you have been happier?
No.
No.
Had it been kept the way we shot it?
Yeah.
No, because I wouldn't have been able to come back on the show. If we had kept it the way we shot it, that was it. That was my Battlestar Galactica time done. So I'm really happy with it because no one knew it was me. So Michael Reimer, who I love to death, just waited and waited and waited, and every so often I'd get a phone call from him, and he was so awesome to just say, look, there's characters coming up, but these characters keep dying. I don't want to bring you in to kill you again. So I'm waiting. We're gonna find something, and then we'll go. And finally, Charlie Connor came up, and Michael had me come in, and it all worked out. And then it was just a matter of every time they could find a place to put Charlie Connor, they'd put me in there. I'd get phone calls asking if I could come to work tomorrow. Can you come in tomorrow? We've rewritten this scene. We've added you to the scene, and of course I'll come in. So that's how I ended up with so many episodes. And then it was such an amazing cast and crew, and I've made lifelong friends with a lot of those people, and so you become friends, and then next thing you know, it's like, well, let's have a scene with you and James Callis, and James and I have a similar process in the way we work. We're both a little bit intense, and so the infamous scene in the bathroom, him and I did not go as scripted. It went differently, and we got very physical and very rough, and we were beaten and battered and bruised, and loved every single minute of it. And to this day, I absolutely love seeing that guy. Here's a thing that a lot of people don't know is there was an episode where James as Baltar has himself in his own head, as opposed to having number 6 in his head. Well, James had asked me to do that. So in all those scenes, when you're looking over Baltar onto Baltar, the other guy is me. So we did all those scenes together, him and I. And there's a great scene with me and James and Reika that was very interesting to shoot. Because we would do the scenes where James would do his one side and I would play him. I would basically do an impression of him on the opposite side, and then we'd switch it around, and then we'd do that. So a lot of people don't know that. So I was around on that set probably a lot more than I had a right to be, but it was so fun. I had a blast.
On set, the walls fall away, and you're there as Henry or as Dr. Helen or as Druid. is it something that you really, really get into?
You know, to be honest, it depends on the scene. It depends on what we're shooting at that time. If it's a really intense, emotional scene, then absolutely. But sometimes we just get caught up having too much fun. I mean, I can't speak for anyone else on the show, but I like to get in there and I like to really feel the character and feel what I'm doing. But having said that, there are times where it's such a fun set to work on that it's so hard to work that way and to be too intense, because if you're trying to be too intense, a lot of times there's just too much fun going on around you, and you can't help but get involved in the fun. So I think the tone is different on Sanctuary, and I think with Battlestar Galactica, there was a lot of political and social relevance and significance, and you have to take that very seriously. There's a lot of pressure there.
Who's the biggest problem that you have to deal with on a daily basis? Because all the actors, they look like they're professionals turning up doing the right thing, but there's always that hidden side where somebody like, say, Chris Heyerdahl turns out to be a natural joker, or obviously Amanda, who'd be the chief instigator of any trouble.
Yeah, hands down, it's Robin Dunn, without question. It's Robin Dunn. Amanda will hit you with some zingers from time to time, and you don't see them coming because she's so busy that you can't you can't believe she has time to like come up with a zinger here and there. Chris Heyerdahl has some. When Robert Lawrenson first came on the show, he got a really interesting welcome from Chris Heyerdahl in a scene, and that's how we knew that Rob Lawrenson was a great guy, and we really wanted him to stick around because he handled it like a champ. And she also has no depth perception of him, so she likes to swing kicks or swing objects, and usually I'm the one in the vicinity. I've scars, bruises, marks from her all season. She's pretty brutal. She does not understand how to like pull a punch at all. It's just not. Just.
Although you say that she doesn't understand how not to pull a punch, or is she just saying that to you?
No, she really has no idea. You could tell. You could tell by the reaction on her face. I don't know if she needs glasses, or I really don't. I don't know. We were walking up a flight of stairs, and she had these kick-ass boots in her hand because she was wearing comfy shoes, and she swung them behind her like this to miss me. But she just clocked me with. I was right there. There was no way she was going to miss me, and she literally knocked me in the face, and down the stairs I went. Like she does that. So there's the infamous story of her hitting me in the sternum with a climbing axe. It's just, who does that? She abuses me at least once an episode. No joke. I mean, it's become a bit of a thing. I just expect it.
One of our fans has asked whether you'll be bringing the guitar out with you and singing a song when you come out to Australia in December.
Oh boy, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I mean, I usually like to travel with my guitar, so it is quite likely that I'd have it with me. It just that's a lot of traveling for my baby. That's my guitar. That's a big trip. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be able to find one while I'm there if I don't bring my own. I think the thing to remember though is we have to give the fans a lot of credit here, just because Amanda has a huge fan base and there was some following, that came with her. These fans aren't just gonna watch something because she's in it. The stories have to be good. The show has to be good. She came from Stargate, and Sanctuary is nothing like Stargate. I'm for a reason, you know. Amanda, if she's going to branch out, she wants to do something different, something new, you know, something exciting, and hopefully that she can do for another 10 years, you know. But the quality had to be there, and the stories had to be there, and the characters had to be there. There's so many things had to come together for this to work, and the fans are a huge part of that, because they'll check out whatever Amanda's doing, no question about it, but they're not going to stick around if they don't like it. Just when Sanctuary was online, you know, they told each other, they got the buzz out there when Sanctuary became a series. We don't have the resources that these other shows have. We don't have the budgets that these other shows have. We don't have the marketing. We don't have the studios. We don't have all that stuff. So for us to be seen and for us to get the word out, we depend a lot on alternative marketing, and the fans are a huge part of that.
If you could choose to keep one of Henry's toys, which would it be?
Oh man, I think my first impulse would be the Molly, which is the new gun that you started to see at the end of season 2, but you see it a lot in season 3. You'll see it in the second episode. It's just a cool weapon. There's that, and then I also really love Henry's his gun, and it's not even one that, you know, it's just a holstered gun that he usually keeps these specially designed tranq bullets in, and I call the gun Petey, and you know, that's pretty cool. Henry's got some cool stuff, man. Henry's got a mod. Halfway through season 3, we got modified iPads. I could go with one of those too.
How do you modify an iPad?
You gotta watch, man. You'll see. You don't even know it's an iPad. You probably won't even notice that it's an iPad. You'd be like, what is that cool thing? Because I've been walking around with this giant tablet for 2.5 seasons, and like, man, you gotta, okay, this tablet is, as soon as the iPad came out, it was great. Like, yes, here you go. Reese is run by people who come from the independent film community, who they're hands-on. I mean, they're amazing creative. They're an amazing creative force who are very, very passionate about this project, and they're very driven and very motivated. And I love those guys. Like, the Reese family is such an amazing family, and I don't say that lightly, because I come from the Sanctuary family, which anybody will tell you, if anybody who's ever walked on our set will tell you, it's probably one of the nicest, funnest sets to be on. But the Reese the Reese people are, you know, they're like-minded, and I'm insanely excited about Reese. Like, I can't even tell you how excited I am about it. It goes live on sci-fi.com in the U.S. on the 26th of October, and if we can get fans on board to watch it and support it, you know, we can get that turned into a TV series, and that would be absolutely amazing. And I'm telling you, man, they are so talented. So talented. The stories, it looks amazing. They've already won awards. They've won like Extreme Awards for cinematography. They've been nominated for, you know, a handful of other awards. It's something else, man. Like, I can't wait for people to see it. It really is like there's nothing like it out there right now.
The two questions that get asked all the time is, what's in his little pouch, and what's his name? Is there any way you can shed any light on that at all?
He didn't let anybody see in that little pouch, man. I have no idea. He keeps that thing wrapped around his neck and held it extremely tight to his chest, and nobody knows what's in there but the big guy. And as far as his name, his name is whatever he wants it to be. As far as I know, he's Biggie or the big guy.
Because it's interesting. Agam was saying that when Chris is on set, as John Druitt, he's less intimidating than when he is as the friendly Bigfoot.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment because when he's on set as a big guy, he's a big guy. You know, when he's on set as Druitt, he's Druitt to some degree, but it's Chris. He's right there. Mm. There's no denying it's Chris. But for years, none of us wanted to tell anybody that Chris played the big guy because we don't know, we don't see that. I mean, it's hard to explain unless you're there. We never wanted people to know that Chris played the big guy because, well, for many reasons, but mostly because it's an amazing transformation, and the big guy is his own. He's really his own character. On the call sheet, it usually says Biggie himself. He's played by himself. And when Big Guy's on set, you have conversations. You have conversations with Biggie. You know, you might occasionally talk about his motorcycle or whatever, but it always just ends abruptly because you're just like, I don't even, you know. Chris Heyerdahl is an old friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine. And I have a relationship with him and I have a relationship with Biggie.
Season 3 tidbits that you won't be reprimanded for by Amanda?
Wow. I wouldn't mind being reprimanded by Amanda. Come on, who would mind that? Who are we kidding?
A spanking for a naughty boy.
I ask her often, I've done something horrible, Amanda. You must punish me. No, that's what there's those internet rumors spreading. First of all, I got to say that Ian Tracy is an exceptional actor and an exceptional human being. I've known Ian for quite a long time, and I'm a big fan. I just think that he's one of a kind, and it's just so amazing to have an actor of his caliber, someone like him on our show. As far as Ian as Adam is never as he seems, ever. You know, you see in the trailers, they say, prepare to meet Jekyll and Hyde. Tesla says that in one of the trailers, so I'm not really giving anything away there. But it's so much more than that. He has an amazing story in his backstory. He's one of those. Well, it's like, is he a villain? Isn't he? The great thing about the writing on Sanctuary is that our villains are so likable, and they're never really completely villains. I mean, Tesla is supposed to be this villain, but you love the guy, and he just keeps. And there he is, and he's not really a bad guy. He's just got bad intentions. Same with Druitt, and Adam is a completely different animal to those guys, but he's awesome. He's a really interesting character, and he's never what he seems. You never know what you're getting with the guy, and Ian does an amazing job playing all the various facets of Adam. It's a very challenging role. Let's put it that way. And I think the fans are gonna dig Adam. Episode 6, maybe. We find out a lot more about Henry and Henry's abilities and who Henry is and how Henry can relate to the world, and there may be a little bit of love in Henry's future. I have been a werewolf since before it was trendy. I was a werewolf when vampires were cool, people. Put that on record.
Now, have you been to Australia before?
Yeah, I used to perform in a circus in Australia. Many years ago. I lived in Australia for, I think it was about a year. I traveled most of the country performing in a circus called the Soul Brothers Circus. SOLE.
What did you do in the Soul Brothers Circus?
I did. I worked as a clown. I did some tumbling, some little bit of acrobatic stuff. I did a lot of stuff on stilts, and I trained a little bit on the trapeze and trampoline. And, you don't really make any money in the circus, but the more you can do, sort of the more you're, paid, I guess. I didn't know, man. I didn't know what I got myself into, but that's what I did, and then I continued doing that for a little while. I learned the craft on the fly while I was there. I was in Australia. I was broke. I was 18. I was by myself, and I ran out of money very quickly and ended up in a circus and thought this would be a great way to see the country. It was an amazing way to see the country. I saw nothing touristy in the year that I was there. I never saw the Great Barrier Reef. I hardly saw anything. But I saw amazing parts of the country that I don't think any tourists, I don't think a lot of Australians have seen what I've seen. And there are things in my life, my friend, that I cannot unsee, and a lot of those things happen in Australia. Aussies are Aussies. That's it. Like that's who you get, and they're just great to be around, and brash and fun and bold, and it's good times. I have never been in so many fist fights in my life, and almost every single one of those turned into like a friendship that lasted ages. I have scars, man. I mean, I have scars on my face. I mean, I wear Australia every day. Let's put it that way. I love that country, and I can't wait to go back.